Miles opened his phone to check one notification. Just one. 53 minutes later, he was watching a stranger rank different types of cereal, and he still hadn't started the report that was due in 4 hours. He put the phone down and stared at the ceiling. Somewhere in the last hour, his brain had made a decision without asking him first. So Miles decided to do something drastic. He was going to quit short videos completely. No TikTok, no Reels, no Shorts. 30 days. He figured it would be simple. Delete a few apps, get his focus back, become the productive version of himself he always talked about becoming. He was wrong. Not about the apps, about how simple it would be. Miles was 24, the kind of guy who read the first paragraph of self-improvement articles and then got distracted by a notification before finishing them. He wasn't lazy exactly. He just had a talent for finding urgent reasons to avoid whatever mattered most. That night, he deleted the apps one by one. He felt like a man taking control of his own life. He even said it out loud, quietly, like a movie character. That's it, no more. The next morning, his thumb moved toward the bottom right corner of his screen. There was nothing there, just his wallpaper, staring back at him. He blinked, confused by his own hand. This kept happening. He'd unlock his phone for no reason, look at the screen for a second, and lock it again. His brain wanted something, but the something wasn't there anymore. By day 3, ordinary moments felt strangely long. Waiting for his coffee to brew felt like waiting for a bus that was never coming. Standing in line at the store, he actually noticed the people around him, which felt oddly intimate for a Tuesday afternoon. Eating lunch alone without scrolling felt almost uncomfortable, like sitting in a room with someone and not knowing what to say, except the someone was himself. He noticed how often he reached for stimulation without thinking, not because he was bored exactly, but because silence made him restless in a way he'd never paid attention to before. Around day 6, something shifted. He finished an entire chapter of a book without stopping once. He felt triumphant, like he'd climbed a small mountain. He even texted a friend, "I think I fixed my brain." His friend replied, "Give it time." Miles ignored that advice because that's what confident people do right before something goes wrong. Within a few days, new habits started creeping in. He'd refresh his email for no reason, hoping for something exciting, though nothing exciting ever comes from refreshing email. He found himself reading comment sections on random articles, arguments between strangers he had zero interest in an hour earlier. He checked the weather 4 times in one afternoon, in a city where the forecast rarely changed. He browsed an online store, adding items to his cart with no intention of buying them, just to feel the small thrill of almost deciding something. At one point, he opened the refrigerator, looked inside for 8 seconds, and closed it without taking anything. He wasn't hungry. He just wanted somewhere else to be for a moment. It became almost funny, in a way that wasn't really funny at all. He had deleted 3 apps, and his brain had simply gone shopping for replacements. Then came the moment that changed things. A friend sent him a short video in a group chat. Just one. Miles told himself that watching a video someone sent you doesn't count as breaking the rule. That's basically a technicality, he thought. One video became the next one, and then the one after that, the way it always does. 20 minutes disappeared before he even noticed his thumb was moving again. He sat there holding his phone, feeling the specific kind of disappointment that comes from watching yourself do the thing you promised yourself you wouldn't do. He didn't spiral into some dramatic breakdown about it. He just felt tired and a little embarrassed, the way you feel when you trip in public and nobody actually saw you, but you still feel it. What Miles didn't fully understand yet was that his problem was never really about one app. His brain had gotten used to constant small rewards, fast content, fast laughter, fast information. Slower things, like reading or finishing a real task, had started to feel less satisfying by comparison, not because they were boring, but because they asked for patience his brain wasn't used to giving anymore. The apps weren't the disease. They were just the easiest medicine for something deeper, an urge to avoid discomfort, boredom, and the quiet moments where his own thoughts got a little too loud. So Miles adjusted his approach. Deleting the apps wasn't enough. He needed to change how he responded to the feeling that showed up right before he reached for his phone. He started leaving his phone in another room while he worked. Not because he had incredible willpower, but because it's harder to grab something that isn't within arm's reach. He let himself feel bored on purpose, just for a few minutes at a time, instead of immediately escaping it. It felt strange at first, like sitting in cold water and waiting for it to feel normal. He took walks without any audio at all. No podcasts, no music, nothing to fill the space. His thoughts got loud during the first few walks, but eventually they got quieter, like his mind was finally allowed to finish a sentence. He picked one show to watch intentionally instead of aimlessly opening 5 different apps, hoping something would entertain him. He paused just for a second or two before unlocking his phone, which was usually enough time to ask himself if he actually needed to. Progress wasn't dramatic. It was small and a little annoying, the kind of progress that doesn't look impressive from the outside, but feels different on the inside. By day 15, he noticed he could sit through a longer video without needing to check something else at the same time. By day 20, he read for almost an hour without realizing how much time had passed, which used to only happen with his phone, not without it. He started noticing conversations more, actually listening instead of half listening while thinking about what to check next. Waiting in line stopped feeling unbearable. It just felt like waiting. He still procrastinated sometimes. He still opened his phone out of habit occasionally. Old patterns don't disappear just because 30 days went by. But he caught himself faster now. The gap between the urge and the action had gotten a little bigger, and that gap was where he actually had a choice. By day 30, Miles wasn't a completely different person. He hadn't transformed into some hyper-productive, perfectly focused version of himself. His phone was still tempting. He still lost time here and there, but something had changed. He noticed his automatic behavior instead of being controlled by it without realizing. He could sit with boredom instead of immediately escaping it. His focus had gotten a little longer, his patience a little steadier, his sense of control a little stronger. The short videos were never the entire problem. They were just the fastest exit whenever life felt slow, difficult, or uncomfortable. And once that exit was gone, Miles had to face something a little more uncomfortable than boredom. He had to face himself in the quiet moments without anything to hide behind. Somewhere out there, someone else is reaching for their phone right now, not because they need to, but because something inside them wants an exit. The question isn't really about the apps. It's about what you're trying to escape when you reach for one.